Alrighty, welcome everybody to another episode of King of the Court. I am Tyler, we got Jimmy, and we have two very special guests. What's your guys' names?
What is my name? I'm Alex Hamner.
And I'm
Hi there.
Jennifer Lucore.
Whoop, whoop.
Lucore. He was asking me how to pronounce it.
Lucore, nothing fancy.
Lucore. Awesome.
Yeah. No drinking. Just
Liquor.
Lucore.
Okay, Lucore.
All right, Lucore.
So thank you for spending the time.
yeah.
We are finally sat down. This has been weeks, if not months, in the process of planning.
Yeah, get Utah and California all in one spot together. It's cool.
Exactly. We're here at the Masters tournament, the PPA Masters tournament, right here at Center Court. We have a beautiful backdrop. And so, yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, so
Let's go.
we've been trying to set this up for a long time.
We have been.
Yes. So if you guys do hear balls in the background, so
We're taking a little inspiration from Jimmy's favorite podcast.
yeah, everyone's favorite podcast. There's a reason that nobody watches because honestly, it's annoying. So here we go. Jennifer and Alex,
Yes.
you
Here we
two
are.
you were two of the OGs of OGs. Like it goes.
Are you emphasizing the O on that? The old?
No, I'm emphasizing the original.
Oh,
How
okay,
long have
original.
you guys?
Okay, good.
When did you both start playing pickleball? Give us some background.
Ooh.
Well, I started playing in 2010,
Okay.
and this one dragged me out with her parents, who'd been playing since.
The 90s, my parents, yeah.
So
Okay.
Jennifer had a little bit of exposure prior to 2010, but you probably really started in 2010 as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was like, we're pushing 15 years.
15 years, and you're both obviously professional players.
Yep.
Highly decorated.
Well, yeah, I got
Yeah.
Tyler into it, so.
Yeah. I mean, this is your original mix partner,
This
right?
is my OG mix partner.
Like Alex
Yeah.
used to carry you.
She used to carry me.
Her
That's
back
why-
was so
that's
sore
why
every
she's so
time.
sore.
Yeah.
The back problems are real.
Yeah.
No, we played for 3 or was it 4 years? Somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good times. We have some good stories.
A lot of stories, a lot of success.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then Jennifer, you decided.
My parents, like I said, have been playing since the 90s, and so my brother and I would like, oh my God, Mom and Dad are playing pickleball again, and they won a gold medal at the Senior Olympics in Colorado, because each state had the tournaments, and so I heard about it for years, and then I finally started playing a little bit, and then I'm like, hey Alex, so we had played tennis
Yeah.
for like
Oh,
10
okay.
years together. We're kind of like 4.5 tennis player club league kind of thing. And I said, hey, there's this tournament. I think we should play. And she's like, okay. And it was like 3 months away, and it's called Nationals, and it's going to be in Buckeye, Arizona.
Oh.
And my parents are like 10 minutes from there, and so she's like, okay. So we went, did really good. She got a medal, and she's like, I love the sport. So from 2010 on, we've had the most fun and successful and people, and it's been awesome.
Well, back in 2010, just
Yeah.
a little. I
Yeah.
mean, how hard were courts to come by? Was there not? Obviously now, like you guys have seen the growth of sport just in the last
Oh,
Right.
13, 14 years.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty incredible, right?
Oh, definitely incredible. We played here at Mission Hills, like in 2012 probably.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so
played
for
a
all the
tournament.
pros, like, this is the first time this country club has had it. It was like, heck no.
Yeah.
We'd had the Lions on, and they actually had a USAPA tournament here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we had some old time Chris Miller, who's still playing around. He was
Mills.
playing, and some of the old timers that are still playing were at this Mission Hills tournament back then.
Yeah,
But they didn't have a center court like this, huh?
not quite like this. No.
No, no,
Although
we didn't
It's
take
come
a
a long
shuttle
ways.
to get to the
You didn't have
venue.
to take a shuttle. You could just pull up and park.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
pretty much in the same area though, because like my family came out, and we're sitting like at the clubhouse to watch us, play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
So courts, I mean, we had some courts near us, but yeah, nothing like this. But so we're in North San Diego County,
Okay.
and they've always been pretty good with some courts,
Yeah.
So lots of players back then, didn't play tournaments, but a lot of people played. So we
Yeah.
were lucky to get our fix, unlike other people that have to
Yeah.
drive hours, days to find
Yeah,
courts.
just to
Did
chase
you
that
ever
love.
envision it would get to this point this soon?
What's your answer on that one?
Yeah, we always talked about, wait until the money comes in, the tennis players start coming over,
Right.
and that's where we are now. So did I think it was going to be 10 years? I don't know. That's I don't know if we ever necessarily looked at a timeline for that.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just it's going to happen.
Right. And pretty much after, 2021, things have changed way fast, really commercialized. And I was even thinking about, writing more about the history from there, but it's just so different than the roots of it, and growing organically and things like that.
So let's take it way back.
Oh, way back.
You wrote a book
I wrote a book with my mom.
with
Yes.
your mom,
Yeah.
which the history of pickleball,
Yep.
more than 50 years of fun.
Right. Did you know it was even 50 years plus?
No, that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
So tell us the history. How did pickleball? There's so many different stories about how it started,
Right,
and
right.
like some guy made up a game on a family vacation to keep his
Right.
kids from bickering, and
Exactly. There you go.
the name was after a dog, whatever. So give us the
The lowdown.
Yeah, what's
Give you
the lowdown? How did pickleball begin?
The cliff notes of the book.
Yeah,
Wow, we don't have a lot of time here, but basically, 1965 it started on Bainbridge Island, which is off Seattle in Washington, and a bunch of cabins and a bunch of kids. They're there for the summer, right? The dads take the ferry back and forth to work. The mom and kids stay, have a great summer, and so they were bored. And Frank Pritchard was the kid that's like, I'm bored, and then like, well, why don't you go invent
the
something?
whiniest.
Yeah, the whiniest kid.
Yeah.
And he's still around now, and he's very proud of that because like,
hey,
look
closed
what I
mouths don't
created.
get fed.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Squeaky wheel.
So they're
You know?
on this old asphalt court that was built in the 30s for badminton, and they're playing around with different paddles, different nets. Let's draw the court and things like that, and they come up with this game, and the kids keep playing, and the courts are busy, and then finally the adults boot the kids off because now they want to play, and the kids are whining because now they can't play because of
yeah,
and so it just kind of rolls, and for decades they don't know what they have, right?
Yeah.
And so but that was really the origin right there on Bainbridge Island.
that's amazing.
How many
Right?
times have you been back?
Oh, 30, 40 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That place, like, for us that just love the game so much and want everything to be for the sport, right?
Yeah.
And the history and the roots, and want to kind of protect like how it was created. Going there is like Mecca.
That's like your Yankee Stadium, Augusta National.
Totally.
Like your,
Yep, 100%.
yeah.
Totally. When I first went there, you go there and there's the court, and so in Seattle, it's all the it rains a lot there. Did you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very green, lots of trees, and so this court is just hidden there with some overgrown foliage stuff, and it's just like, oh my God! I totally was on my knees. I kissed the court.
I love it. And it's the original court.
It's the
still?
original court, and
Still
luckily,
asphalt,
yeah,
still.
the owners
preserved it.
understand how cool that is, so they haven't resurfaced it. So it's like the asphalt and has kind of moss in it, and
It's amazing.
it's like
And it still has
super cool.
like the cracks from the tree that's next to it.
Oh,
And
yeah,
the lump in
growing
the
through
in
it,
the
yeah.
asphalt. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Do you play the lump, or is it a reserve?
Oh no, you play.
Oh, you play it. And
Love
as one of the founders, Barney McCallum, who we became really good friends with,
Yeah.
he was like, "Okay, girls, lob it in the tree, right? And hit it there because they can't get it, or hit it over there
love
wide,
it.
so they would
Yeah.
run it. They'd run into
Home
the
court
bushes.
advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the obstacles, like game on.
Yeah.
Makes
Like
you a
they
better
were.
player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It'd
That's
actually, it'd
funny.
be more entertaining if they had some of that on the center court.
Yeah.
Throw in a couple of rocks
Yeah.
or something.
They
Yeah.
know where the dead spots are, and just
Right.
play the
Yeah.
dead spots.
Oh yeah,
I love
you
that.
hit for the crack, and you lob it into the tree because if it bounces off the tree, it's
Yeah.
still alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
even
amazing.
there too, you guys, the court, still there. So there's this big tree kind of at one of the baselines, and so the original rule was when you served, you could step 1 foot in to the court because you had to, because the tree was there.
Okay, so this is
Yeah.
really funny that you
Yeah.
say this, because I have a friend
Yes.
who
No
grew
way.
up in, I know, my only friend. He grew up in Washington.
Yes.
And that's who told me about pickleball. He used to play it in junior high.
Yeah.
And his rule when I first played was you could step 1 foot into the court.
Right.
And I was
that's
like,
why.
and then when I started playing, I was like, no, you can't. This guy, what's this guy?
Right.
But that makes sense.
That's where Deckel learned to play.
That's right.
But that is so true. And when I was researching for the history book my mom and I wrote, so I interviewed one of the guys, the son of one of the founders, and actually here in Palm Springs, and he was sharing that he came to Palm Springs. They have a vacation home here, and he played like a couple years ago, and he went and stepped in the court because he hasn't kept up with it. And the little monitor lady's like, "Excuse me, that you can't step in."
Yeah.
And I said, "Did you tell him like who you were?" And he's like, "No," but he thought that was still the rule. So it's very cool.
That's funny, yeah. Because I honestly, the first time I played, I was like,
And you thought he
okay.
was nuts, and he actually knew what he was talking
Well,
about.
yeah. The first time I just played it, right? Because
Yeah.
I didn't know, and then when I started playing more, I was like, wait, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so I need to apologize to him.
There you go.
Take notes.
Yeah.
So pickleball.
Right.
The name pickleball is unique. Obviously, there's differing opinions on it. If they should change the name, if they should. Do people not take it serious because it's called pickleball? What's the background of the name?
You start. You like this one. And I'll fill
It's
in.
the dog, right?
Well,
It's-
it is the dog. But that,
The
you know,
shirt, though.
there he is, Pickle, right?
Pickles, that dog.
But
Or is it the boats?
the boats are stupid.
Okay. Tell us your
But-
version, Alex.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to say, like, with the name, okay, yeah, pickleball sounds goofy, whatever, but squash is a dumb name. I mean, that
True.
thing's a vegetable.
That's true. Let's stick this is a veggie thing.
Well,
here,
it's not
huh?
very popular though either.
Cricket.
That's
Is that
true.
popular?
Veggies and
It's
bugs.
not popular here, but it's like popular hugely, you know, throughout the world.
In India.
And that's bugs. So that's a dumb name.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, tennis is a dumb name. We're just used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tennis
Same with
sucks.
golf. What golf is?
What about basketball? Is that a dumb name?
No.
Soccer?
Yeah.
Football.
Football?
It's
Football,
called
no.
football.
Okay.
Yeah. And so pickleball. It's not a dumb name.
Yeah.
You're just not. You
I
know.
agree.
It's,
I wasn't calling
you're
it
not that
dumb.
used to it.
I feel like you're offended right now.
well, I'm just saying people.
She gets riled
some
up
people
on the
do.
name.
You're
Yeah.
pissing me off, Jimmy Miller.
So, where did it
Everybody
come
has wanted
from?
to say that.
But anyways, so that's my thing on the name.
Yeah.
It was
Get-
after
get
the
line,
dog,
Alex,
and it's
get
not a
line.
dumb name. So there, Jennifer, would you
Okay,
like to?
so
pipe
what's
up?
the story though? Why pickleball?
Right. So basically, like I said, they're on Bainbridge Island. The family's playing this game, and we keep playing it. And so now we need like a name, right? So the adults are in the cabin, cocktail hour, right? They love
Yeah.
their cocktail hour. They love trash
Yeah.
talking when they're playing,
Oh.
which is a little side note that, I mean, that is the roots. So because we want to be just like pickleball. We don't want to be like other
It was
sports.
friendly trash.
So
talking.
you can like, hey, is that all you got? Come on, let's play. And then we go have lunch or go grab dinner.
Yeah.
We have drink, right?
Love it.
So that is totally how the roots were. And so we like try to remind people or educate, like, it's okay to cheer, have fun, laugh, right? Because that's pickleball.
It's not meant to be this quiet, like
right.
Yes.
But the roots, like the founders,
Yes.
like, so anyway,
Yes, good.
DJ
The-
Selkirk over here loves to say, "This is pickleball, not tennis."
excellent.
Trying to rile up the crowd.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
We
know.
don't want to
Fired up.
like fit like because they do that or rally score like
Yeah.
because no, we're like carving our own path,
our own sport.
So
you know, and
fun,
anyway.
fun,
so-
fun fact, little inside info is they actually just released some rules for MLP
yeah.
that they're gonna announce here soon,
Yeah.
and they're asking the crowds to be loud during, after, trash talk, get excited, bring the
During
energy
the point.
during the point.
During the point. So
During
right
the
before you
point.
hit, you can do a blowhorn.
Just bring no.
I
don't-
think that blowhorns and stuff would be a bit much.
Yeah,
but,
maybe that, but bring the energy.
yeah.
Like,
like it.
Let's yeah.
But there's also, a fine line, right?
Sure.
From the crowd. Like you only should cheer for like a
Yeah,
good
I
point,
mean,
not let the guy
Fed
keep
can't
missing.
call Annalie, certain words, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But anyway,
even if
so
she
that
deserves it, like, let's not go there.
Yeah. So the founders, so basically they're in the cabin thinking like we need to name it, right? So there is this dog, Pickles, and the dog, Pickles, keeps chasing the ball, getting the ball. And so during cocktail hour, they're like, oh, Pickles runs by. And they're like, oh, pickleball. Let's name it Pickleball. They all toast, agreed, Pickleball.
So they come up with this. Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Let me back up. They come up with this game
Yes.
that is now the fastest growing sport in America.
Correct.
8 million people or something. And they-
Plus.
At least.
Plus, and they're
50
saying,
million.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying
Yeah.
like 30
in
to.
U.S. maybe
Yeah.
8
Oh, yeah,
million,
yeah.
but across
Yeah,
the world.
we
yeah.
have this beautiful facility,
Yeah, we do.
and they named it because their dog was running by while they were drunk.
Yeah. Well, I didn't
don't know
say
if they were
drunk.
drunk.
All right. But
Just because you're having a drink, Jimmy, doesn't mean you're drunk. Come on.
some can have
You
a
have
few
to be the name of
cocktails.
pickleball.
No.
Just kidding.
Okay, you're like, what is Pickles, a dog? But
Love
yeah,
it.
so as a historian, right, in the book, I can only say everybody's truth, right? So
Yeah,
like we all go to a
love that.
party, but then you're interviewed later, and we all have like different takeaways.
Yeah.
Like, well, what'd you eat? And we could all say, well, they only only had this one drink.
They only
right?
had vegetables. Or,
Yeah. And so that whole part's interesting. So
there's
anyway, the
different stories.
truths of all the people that were there, dog, except for one lady, Joanne Pritchard,
Okay.
and she said it's like the pickle boat. It's named after rowing, and the definition of that's a little scattered, different things. So the whole, not the dog definition.
Are you
comes
friends with
from,
Joanne?
Well, she passed away years ago, but she did have a newspaper column in West Virginia in the newspaper. So she had privy to the press back then, right?
Yeah.
Which then is on the internet. So she said, 20, 30 years later, after 65, she says, I named it, and it's after the pickle boat.
Oh, you think
Or
Joanne,
after rowing.
You think Joanne was just trying to get a little credit?
And what do you say on that? Alex always follows up.
I was already riled up about the name.
Joanne's just trying to,
I think she was
was she the
kind
two,
of bringing some light to herself.
She's the 2-0 of the family, right? And everybody passed her.
If
and
she
left her
even
behind.
played on
She-
they were divorced by then. She was living
Did
on
you
the
ever
East
meet her?
Coast. And
No, she was way before our time, yeah. But so all the people are like, I don't understand why Joanne would say this,
All right,
right?
well, KLTC doesn't
Yeah.
believe Joanne. Just
Yeah,
saying.
there you go. So anyway, all day long, the founders that we knew, Barney McCallum,
Yeah.
to his death, it's like, it's the dog, I don't understand. The family around, it's the dog.
The Smiths, the Browns,
You know.
all of them are.
And then,
like,
but
it's
you
the dog.
find people, and mostly seniors, I'm sorry to say, but a lot of them have a lot of extra time on their hands. And they're like, Jennifer, it was not the dog. The dog came later, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, like, were you there? Like,
Yeah.
how do you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I read it on the internet. Because,
everything's
Everything on the internet
it's
is
there,
true.
right?
Especially on Facebook.
yeah,
At least
exactly.
My mom thinks that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and so, in fact, Alex
She's gonna
was
get $1
saying,
million because she forwarded
Yeah.
something.
Alex was saying today, I don't know if it was a PPA or someone saying about Bill Gates or someone posted.
Oh yeah, somebody posted on Facebook, a picture of Bill Gates and that he invented pickleball.
I think he did.
Yeah.
That's where he got all his money from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
from pickleball.
But I should say Bill Gates
I
is
think
in the
not.
book
Actually, we probably shouldn't
because
say that because some people don't know when we're being.
yeah, Bill
joking.
Gates.
Yeah, they don't know
he's
when
the
you're
Bainbridge
joking
Island
around.
guy, right?
and so
Well,
Bill
a Seattle
Gates-
guy, but yeah.
Bill
Yeah.
Gates' dad, senior, he was friends with Barney McCallum, one of our founders, and they played tennis together,
Okay.
right? And so they also did some pickleball together, right? And so the Gates do have a long history of playing pickleball because they're right there where
Yeah.
Oh,
it
that's
started.
And the McCallum kids and the Gates kids.
right,
And it's
Two
right.
that-
are friends.
So they
too.
were definitely around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, they had nothing to do with the
Well, clearly,
invention.
Bill didn't see this vision because he should have.
Because he
invested.
pivoted,
Yeah,
right?
he
You should
pivoted.
pivot.
What a failure that guy was.
Loser.
Honestly, yeah. Jeez. So now got the name.
We got a name
We
and-
got the sport.
Right.
When did pickleball when did it become a professional sport? The first pro tournament was what?
Oh.
Do you remember?
Well, I do have
she
my.
has no-
Oh, whoa! We got notes.
PPF.
Hold on.
We have
PPF.
We have
PPF,
never.
PPF.
2016, Jimmy.
Yep.
They
Okay.
they created the first.
I was there for that too.
There
You
you
were?
go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
remember?
What was
guys
your
played in it?
PPF number?
What do you mean, rank or?
No, like your membership, your whatever.
I don't know.
Pro number.
What
my
was
gosh.
yours?
24.
I have no idea.
I was.
Oh.
She's a
I was a
numbers
late
girl.
entry.
She would remember that.
Did you guys
Yeah.
play in the PPF?
Well, this was the first pro organization, right?
Okay.
They were
Yeah.
structuring to help the men and women get X amount of dollars and,
And
be.
who started that?
John Gullo
Oh,
and some
okay.
other people, right?
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
a
Founder
founder.
Okay.
of the
Tournament of Champions.
Tournament
Yeah.
champion.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
but what's interesting, right? So that's 2016, and it only lived for about a year. So
Okay.
basically, it was a little bit before its time, and the way they came at it is different than how the APP and PPA, which is like 2018-19 started. Yeah, someone's got to start the ball rolling. So,
Yeah.
But like we have our little triangle 3D trophies that
Yes.
are PPF
yes,
Yeah.
trophies
You
and
still
stuff.
have them?
Yeah,
in a box.
Those ones are actually cool. They have the ball or the coin in
they're
the
yeah
middle.
inside
Yeah.
the
Oh,
acrylic
really?
that's
triangle
cool.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the first pro tournament.
So those
Yeah.
that's when they had like a pro organization,
Yeah.
right?
First
So
pro, yeah.
over the
And
years,
was TOC the first pro tournament?
Well, depends
Well,
on
yeah,
how
that's
you
how
how
you
you
define
designate
it, yeah.
pro. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Nationals,
nationals, you would
yeah.
win money, and so you're
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
is that a pro tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But TOC, which was the first one, was the Dennis Forbes Memorial.
Okay.
Had the first like real money.
Yeah.
You know, you could actually
Well,
win a
it's
couple
considered real money,
$1,000s.
like $100 or $200
Yeah.
No,
What was
you get a
money
couple
back
thousand.
then?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
per person or per team?
Person.
Well, like in the tournament, I remember one year I won $3,500
Yeah, okay.
across the 2 or 3 events I
Wow.
played.
Right.
So,
we have
yeah.
photos of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they give you big checks
Oh yeah.
back then, like
Yeah.
the huge ones?
Yeah, it
that
was
you
about
hold?
about this big.
No,
It's like
they didn't have big checks
Like the
back
Price
then.
is Right? Oh.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I should say on the money part, right, through the history of the tournaments, so the only tournament for years was nationals. There's one tournament, and that was where you would make money, right?
Yeah.
So they had them in Arizona, and the prize money would be like $500 if you got gold, right? So
Yeah.
for years, Alex and I, we have our $500 each, and we have this metal plate like Wimbledon, you know. And
Oh,
we-
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You get
10
nice
o'clock at
silver
night,
plate,
we're
yeah.
one. You know, there's 4 people that watch the finals or whatever. And but that was it, right? So every year you'd go to nationals, but then other tournaments, and I know what's cool about Tyler being part of it is like Grand Canyon Games in Arizona, right? So they didn't really have prize money. They had the same $1 medal that you'd get. They'd pass out every year, but you would all the top players from the United States would go there because that was the place like who's the best. So the Seattle people, Florida people, Utah people come. And you'd play, and you guys were partners then. And do you remember those? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Tyler? Yeah.
Yep.
Did you
Yeah.
ever
That
win
was
one?
our first tournament, I think.
It
Was
was.
a Grand Canyon State
Yeah.
game.
Did you ever
Yeah.
win one?
I don't know if we ever won, but I think we took top.
We medaled,
yeah,
all
we
the time.
medaled in quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at
You
those
guys-
tournaments, there's no prize money.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
prize. And
Can't-
people still went. And Alex and I went 8 years in a row to that one.
Can
because,
you believe people used to travel
right.
around just to play in for fun or
Yeah.
to compete?
Well, I mean,
That
it's
to
an
me
amateur
is-
game now. Like, how many
yeah.
people here aren't from Palm Springs? They pay money
Yeah.
just to come
A lot,
and
yeah.
compete for a plastic medal.
Right.
Like, that's the love of the game, right?
Yeah.
And that's the difference, Jimmy, is like, and that's why it's cool that Tyler, he's kind of more unique. He's seen like both sides, right? Before, like, he's playing, figuring it out, you know.
Now he's
saying
making
some-
$5 million a year, I hear.
Yeah.
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 it's
So
cool.
he's
More.
like seen both sides.
Yeah. We had Lucy Kovalova come on a while ago, a few months back, and she mentioned that there's this camaraderie between the players that have been in it for that long.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler and her and Kyle Yates and Matt and Ben Johns and like that have been in it since 2016, 2017, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you guys, there's like this camaraderie among those players.
Yeah.
And she actually said, I believe her words were that they're very protective of each other.
Yeah.
Because we've seen that. We've played for medals.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And strictly medals.
Yeah, and then some of these newer players, I mean, not to pick on anybody, but like the complaints that they're having and things like that. She's like, oh, we played on side courts with tape lines and
Tape lines, yeah.
and
really bad temporary
and
nuts.
temporary
Right,
nets and
right.
gold medal matches,
Yeah.
right? Like
right.
and
Right.
so there's a little bit of that camaraderie.
And
there.
the referees were, there because people on the microphone, we need a referee to court 26.
yeah, exactly. So,
And it's like, and it truly was like for the love of the game,
Yeah.
right? And you're there and like, okay, who's got bragging rights today, right? And so we'd play, and then you finish up, and then a lot of times we're like at Happy Trails, one of the master plan community. A lot of people would stay at host families, and we'd be playing ping pong,
Yeah.
10, 11 o'clock at night,
In our
and then,
pajamas or
yeah.
something.
Oh, yeah.
But you're having fun, like talking about the day, and then you get up and start game on at 8 the next
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
So it was a
amazing.
really really special time, and great people for sure.
So tell us a little. You kind of mentioned to me when we were prepping for this. There's some fun facts about the founders.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the people that actually the founders of pickleball.
You want to tell them the 3, and I'm going to pull out my glasses and read one thing.
Yeah.
All right, the 3 founders. Joel Pritchard, he's the one that had the badminton court where the game started.
Okay.
And their friend Bill Bell, who was, the family was kind of renting, I guess, or staying at one of the cabins on the Pritchard property for a couple weeks there in the summer. And a few cabins down on Bainbridge Island was the McCallum family. So Barney McCallum is the 3rd founder.
Doesn't
Right.
Barney McCallum just sound like a great name? Like,
The guy.
He was a great guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
just Yeah.
And Jimmy, he was the one that we got to hang out with.
Okay.
So
That's awesome.
because there's so many tangents, but he was definitely we'd visit him several times a year on Bainbridge Island. We basically I'd go to the Canadian Nationals, which was always like July, and then cruise down in Seattle and then stay there and visit. We'd sit around and talk about the game, and this was way before like, hey, let's write a book.
Till like 1 in the morning.
Really? That's
Yeah.
amazing.
But I was going to share like for you guys to like check it out. So there's these 3 families, right? And these dudes all have great careers, you know, in politics and in the Barney
Business,
had Seattle printing envelope company, blah blah blah. But like Barney was 39 years old and 65. Joel Pritchard was 40 and Bill Bell was 42, right? So these guys late 30s, 40s, and then this is like the sport starts, right?
Yeah.
And none of them like dropped their business, right? Because like for decades they didn't really know
They just
had
did
anything,
it for fun as well.
right?
Yeah.
You know, and so but then you know a couple things happened that kind of kept the sport alive, and then like here we are, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I just think it's interesting that people think like there's just 3 families and they were just doing their thing.
Yeah.
Well, so it's fun stuff is like Jennifer said, the Barney had his envelope printing businesses.
Super successful, had patents. Like the guy was smart.
Yeah, really smart. And Joel Pritchard was a senator and congressman, you know, into the politics.
In
And Bill
Washington.
Bell was always a bit of a mystery. He worked abroad for the most part, but like never really talked about work or anything. It was just that's whatever. He's that's what Bill does.
Yeah, he was in Indonesia, and so they sent some a portable net and paddles to him in Jakarta, I think, or whatever.
That's probably like the second country that pickleball
and
has
that's
ever
in like
played
the early
cool.
70s. Like what the heck, right?
Yeah.
And then what we just found out, this is like breaking news.
Ooh, breaking news.
last year or so.
Last year on was it ESPN's 10-minute documentary on pickleball? They came out, and let me read the exact words for you people, so I have it right.
Switching the glasses, I like it.
Cheaters. I'm over 50. So Bill Bell, again, like Alex said, no one really knew what he did. So he was a spy. He was recruited by the CIA, and he helped POWs out of Cambodia and Vietnam.
Wow. Bill Bell is a badass.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that is cool.
he's one of our founders.
Wow, that's amazing.
And we just found that out last year.
Connor Prado would never.
And Barney be like, he didn't do a lot
about Ken
actually.
Herman?
As far
Maybe
as
he's a mystery.
as far as
We'll
the
find out
sport-
later. Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Bill was there at the right time as far as founding the sport, and he was one of the original investors in Pickleball Inc. as well with Barney.
Right.
He's like, but you know what? Bill always just wanted paddles sent to him in Indonesia or wherever he was in the world.
That was his
That's
contribution.
amazing.
Like,
Maybe that's how he was bartering to get the POWs
Yeah.
out.
Could be, yeah.
He's like,
Look.
check this game out.
Yeah.
You guys will love it.
well, the game, with Joel Pritchard in politics, right? So they played pickleball. You know how a lot of times business people, you golf, right? You
Yeah.
golf and you were doing the deal and talking. Well, he used pickleball actually to get people together.
That's why he was so successful.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I mean,
Pickleball's
but
great.
but
Had
is
one
that
at the governor's house, right?
Yeah, they had courts at the governor's
That's
house. But I mean, how cool in the 70s and 80s, right?
Yeah.
The high Washington, governor guy in politics, they're doing pickleball.
Yeah,
they're doing the
that's amazing.
deals during a game of pickleball.
So we fast forward 2016. We have tournaments, 17, 18 PPA, and 18 first tournaments, and 19. Where do you guys like the direction that pickleball is going, and where do you see it going in the next 10 years?
Go Hamner.
Yeah, why do I always go first?
Alex, I know you got a lot of opinions on this. Let's hear it. Like, do you feel territorial? In
Yes.
a sense?
Yes.
Totally.
Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead. Okay, now I'm talking.
Okay, here we go.
This is how we do it. I let her in and then I cut her off.
I just had to get Jennifer fired up here. Just had to get her fired up.
We're a good comedy show. Just,
Yes.
We don't even practice. It
Yes.
just happens.
And there's a lot of things I like that they're trying some different aspects, I guess. But there's, I don't know.
But you're
I
purist.
don't like
you don't want a real change.
I don't want a real change.
Like you want no rally scoring,
no rally scoring.
right? Like
For sure, no rally scoring.
like you want to stick to the
roots,
the roots.
right? And because we were so, I mean, Barney McCallum, one of the founders, it was like our grandfather.
Yeah.
We talked on the phone all the time. He never did computer. He got the Wall Street Journal delivered to his front door.
Yeah.
He checked, his stocks every day. I mean,
Yeah.
this guy.
the
smart.
families would go visit as well.
So when we
yeah.
talk on the phone, the first thing you'd always say, you said, girls, because we were like, the girls. Girls, are they messing with the rules?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time. Like I have it on my iPhone, the audio things.
Yeah.
And he'd always say, and so he just like was hoping that they just didn't mess it up, so then you wouldn't like recognize like, is this pickleball or what is this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I totally get how like for TV we got to tweak it, or this particular league we're gonna do it. Whatever, but such a small percentage of people play pickleball tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Very small, like
Yeah.
less than 10%, right, of this whole millions.
Yeah.
So let the people in their local YMCA and all this stuff, let them play, keep the rules, and because that's what we love, and so, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like sort of protective, but there's only so many hours in the day to chase down something.
Yeah, but what do you think about the other innovations though, with like paddle technology, balls, things like that? Like, how would Barney feel about those things?
I love how you like how. He's watching.
That's
like,
always
girls.
what we're like. What would Barney
Yeah.
think?
Exactly.
Do, yeah.
Yeah. Or we text you like, "Oh my God, Barney is not happy right now. He's pissed."
Yeah.
But what would you say on?
I think the paddles, for the most part, that's all.
Yeah, that's within
That's all
reason.
for the good. Yeah.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
good of sport. Or does Barney want you to whip out that old wood paddle that he made in his wood shop behind the
No.
cabin?
It was actually in the basement, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Jimmy, those are really cool. They're still around at
Yeah.
the family, compound or
that's
whatever.
amazing.
Those things are so damn heavy, right? And you
Yeah.
play
And
with
with,
them.
and
You
with
wonder
no
why his
actual
tennis
grip,
elbow,
like
like-
just
Yeah.
like a flat piece of plywood. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But so we are protective, and that's why we're super stoked that you guys had us on, and
Yeah.
for people to think
Love
about it, right? Because the big picture is the fun, right? And it gets people off the couch, out of the house, get some energy, exercise,
Like Barney would say, off the
socialize.
sideline.
Yeah, socialize.
Yeah, a lot of these new rule questions are actually more of philosophical questions on how do we want the actual direction of the game to go. Because they can if they start allowing these paddles or changing the rules, it's going to change the dynamics of the game 100%.
And it definitely has.
Yeah, and
We
it
got
already
it.
has up to now.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like just the grit. It used to be you like couldn't have any roughness.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, in this tournament, okay, so there's this argument that's going back and forth. I mean, on the forums and things, this tournament alone, they've changed it. The serve rule is essentially that you have to hold it at the hip, drop
Right.
it, and serve.
and people are weaponizing this
Because people are
insanely.
weaponizing
Yeah.
the serve, and
Right.
the argument is that pickleball was not meant to be a game where the serve is weaponized.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I agree with that.
And you guys
And
are in agreement.
Alex agrees with it, so I agree with it.
Would Barney be
And
in
Barney
agreement?
agrees with it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's a rally sport, and so the serve is just to start the point.
Right.
It's not, as Tyler
Right.
likes to say, it's not Deckel
Exactly.
falling onto the court.
Right. And it's not Zane.
Do they do a founders tournament?
They do
Yeah.
actually.
Do they put a tree on the court that you have to step in front of?
They
They
actually
should.
have
Let me
well,
run it.
Bainbridge actually the city finally got how important that town was, right?
Yeah.
And just I don't know, say 4 years ago they have some
Okay.
city courts.
Okay.
But up
awesome.
until then there was no courts. And
Well,
we'd go over and like, you guys, this is like Mecca. Like
Yeah.
and then the
I mean, there's lots of courts, but they're in everybody's yards.
they're private, yeah.
Okay,
everybody
you know,
has
you can
their
walk
own.
down the street and there's a court. There's a
Yeah,
court.
so
there's
now
a
you
court.
can go to Bainbridge Island, take the ferry, and go to the Founders Courts, which
can
is what
play.
they're called,
Yeah,
and the
that's
city
amazing.
courts. They're beautiful, and you can just get like a feel of like how it was
amazing.
then.
They have a doghouse there. It's cute.
Oh, for
Yeah,
pickles?
For pickles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do they have a pickle boat out there?
No.
No, because
For
there's
their
not
roommates?
such
The
a thing.
pickleball's not a thing.
Oh.
We should
okay.
put one there just to
We
mess
should.
with people.
No.
Yeah. Be
You
like,
shouldn't.
you like put.
I'll
you,
take your hat
You
off
like
if-
put you
if
put
you
a
start
marble in
harassing
like
me.
whatever one you actually believe. Do you believe Joan or do you believe everybody else?
It's spelled Joan, but
Yeah.
it's Joanne.
Oh, Joanne.
Yeah, Joanne.
Okay.
So,
Well,
just
that's
there's
her
a lot
first,
of
that's her
technical-
first issue.
Exactly. There was
Yeah.
a few
Yeah.
things for sure.
So just wrapping this up,
Yes.
10 years, give me your projection, pickleball. Where do you see it?
Oh, I think it's just more over the world, all over the world, and which makes me super happy because that means more people will be able to experience the fun, right?
Enjoy,
so I do
yeah.
travel internationally, do some teaching, and so a lot of the other countries are, like the 3.0, 3.5 is a lot of their peak.
Yeah.
But it's so great because those people are having so much fun, right? And they're
Yeah.
like sponges, like they want to
Yes.
learn. They can't get
Yes.
enough, and they're watching you guys online and watching you play, and
Notice
so
how she didn't say watching me play.
Yeah, she skipped you.
I haven't seen you play.
No, you
so,
don't want to.
okay,
Trust
all
me.
right.
No, you
But I
And
see.
they'd still be watching Tyler.
yeah.
I just see the exposure, like just so many more numbers and so many more courts and opportunities for people to have. I mean, as much of fun as we have, like why shouldn't
Yeah.
other people have that?
Yeah, for sure.
What do you say,
Yeah,
Hamner?
I think so. And I think it's just going to keep growing within the country clubs, for example, and cities are going to get with it even more so. And okay, maybe they'll still put in a couple tennis courts, but they'll put in their 8 or 12 pickleball courts as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is great and what they should do.
Awesome. We
So-
appreciate your time.
Yeah.
bet.
So,
Go ahead.
so Jennifer wrote a book. Where can we find your book?
It's the one and only book, you guys, on the history.
The
all right?
history.
So, of course, it's on Amazon, or it's also on my website, allpickleball.com. So, ALL pickleball.com, where you can get the book cheaper, and I autograph it, which makes
Oh.
it priceless, right, Jimmy?
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
When do I get an autograph copy?
Exactly. I'll leave you one, but
I want an autograph
it's
copy.
kind of cool. So, for you that are curious about it, I mean, it talks about the pad. It talks about so many things,
So
and
many
it's
things. Yeah.
a lot of fun, humor, and
Yes.
how, and which we didn't have time for, but there was several things like how pickleball almost like died. Like if this didn't happen, then none of us would be here.
Yeah.
That's
We
like a
wouldn't
whole
be-
nother thing.
We
Yeah.
wouldn't be sitting on this couch. Right
Real
now.
Exactly.
quick, so I've played with Alex Well, we played earlier on for 3 to 4 years. We
Right.
had a lot of matches, a lot of success, a lot of disappointments.
Yeah.
A lot
I
of
want you to
victories.
roast me or talk about your favorite experience
Playing
or
with Tyler.
most memorable match
Was
we
it
had.
when you didn't have to play with him anymore? Is that your favorite experience?
Maybe you remember the Jeff Warnick one.
Oh, you can't forget the Jeff Warnick
Maybe
one.
walk us through that one. So there's an infamous video where me and Alex
The paddle
Yeah.
throw.
were playing Jeff Warnick and Michelle Esquivel
At
That-
Nationals.
Yeah.
at Nationals.
Yeah.
What? 2017, 2018?
I don't even remember,
know,
yeah.
Many years ago. And
5 years
we
ago.
we ended up winning the point. And
Oh, we
Jeff-
won the match.
We win the match
on a great point.
on
yeah.
a great point, and Jeff turns around and hucks his paddle
Yeah.
5 courts down.
Yeah.
All right, so walk us through that, if you remember.
Well,
Of course, she remembers.
Wow, Tyler. Wow.
how much time do we have left? No. So it was a super long match. It went like an hour and a half.
And Jeff is your favorite person to begin with, right?
Actually, I love Jeff. He's a total asshole on court.
Has he ever given you a parking ticket?
No.
He's a
I
meter-
don't go
he's
to
a
his
meter
town.
maid. You don't go to the slums? Is that what you're saying? Wow, Alex. Wow.
No, Jeff's a great guy, but I don't have fun playing against him. So we were doing well, and then Jeff started, pulling his antics, which I don't do well with, and so I started doing poorly. We started doing poorly. You may have rolled your eyes once or twice. I don't know.
For sure he did.
That's where it all began.
That's where it all
The birth.
started. Yes.
The inception.
Thank you, Jeff.
But then you were really great because you took over for one thing, but you started throwing it back at Jeff, and you really like helped me through that and started getting into their heads a little bit instead of them being into mine. We came back and we went back and forth, and I think that match it was 16-14 or 17-50 something.
Close.
In the third, right? And so we won the final point, and Jeff chucked his paddle, and I think that's the last time we probably played them, but we had played them a handful of
So
times.
you went out on a winning note against Jeff Warnick. So you beat him the last
Well,
time you played.
The funny thing is, I saw him at a tournament, a couple years later, and he says, Alex, I've never beat you in a tournament. We've played like 4 or 5 times
Yeah.
because we've played him at SoCal.
We
and
normally
whatever as
handle
well.
him pretty well, yeah.
Yeah, so that was just kind of funny.
Is the
so
paddle
that was
still in
good.
the parking lot?
It was landed on some court, probably almost killed
It was
the guy.
super hazardous. I mean, like it could have like knocked.
Yeah.
I
There's
mean, that
video.
thing
I've seen
flew.
the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the other funny one
Okay.
that
let's
I
hear it.
have with us is we played at U.S. Open, and we played like 4 or 5 matches in a row on center court.
Mhm.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And our last match on center court was against Tyson in Arena.
Okay.
And super great match. Went 3. They ended up beating us, whatever, 12-10 or something in the third. And so we're all bummed sitting, at the end of the match. And Arena comes up and says, "Oh, Alex, you know what?" And I said, "What, Arena?" And she says, "I think that's the first time I've ever beat you." And I said, "I think you're right." And you said,
I don't remember.
"That makes me feel good."
Well,
Yeah. What was our best win or most memorable win to you?
Our most memorable win? Well, we handled the Newmans pretty easily, as I recall,
This was Riley and Lindsay.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Check.
Um,
Done.
We
Yeah.
beat Zane, Navratil, and somebody at U.S. Open.
Okay, I don't
That was
remember
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Remind me, what's my favorite one?
I don't know. Yeah.
I remember watching you guys though, and you guys great team. And for the audience that doesn't know like ages or whatever, but when we're talking about the U.S. Open and stuff, so Alex was over 50, age 50 then, and so I'm watching her and I'm like, and then the new 20-year-olds, all sparkly people, she's like, "Oh my God, you beat them!"
Sparkly.
And then like another 20-something, they beat them too, and so you're like steady Eddie, right? Steady, and then Tyler comes, does his thing around the post. Alex, steady Eddie. So it was really cool. I mean, when
They're
we
just
talk about
hyping me
U.S.
up
Open,
right now.
They are
Yeah.
hyping you up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good
It was-
thing, because I
so-
had a bad tournament.
You were
this
so
time.
good in 2018.
Take me back.
And I hate to admit this, and a lot of people won't believe it, but you were a great partner.
yeah, there you
Boom.
go.
How were the
So-
eye rolls?
Bam.
I turned my back to you.
Good. Good.
I was busy rolling my own eyes. I don't need
Yeah.
to see yours too.
All right. How do people stay up to date with you guys? Is there website,
Yeah,
socials?
you guys
How do
social
people?
media?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Facebook, Instagram, and then the book, allpickleball.com.
yes.
We're around.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
I don't know.
Thank you so much for finally making this happen with us.
Yeah,
Beautiful
thank you
setting.
guys.
Yeah.
If you guys like this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will hopefully get them on maybe
I
down
feel
the
like
road.
this could be like a docu-series. So
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, there's so much.
There's-
didn't even
There's so
think
much
of it.
juicy stuff. I mean, just
Yeah.
the spy is the only one I can
Yeah,
throw in right now
awesome.
because
Yeah.
we're like, just
And we didn't even
Yeah.
talk about balls. There's a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Awesome. Well, thank you for tuning in, and thank you once again to you guys for
Thanks,
coming
you
out.
guys.
Yeah,
Keep
all right.
playing.
Alex and
All right.
Jennifer.